get here. Welcome back to CWM University, and today we're going to go inside the classroom and interview real people with real experiences. Come on. Yeah, you. Come on. I said come on. Welcome back to this episode of Inside the Classroom, and today we have Celine, which is a middle school math teacher, and we're going to get her perspective of inside the classroom. Celine, thank you for joining me today. Let's get to know you a little bit more. What grades have you taught, subjects, and how long have you been teaching?
Well, thank you for having me. I have taught 7th and 8th grade math for the last 4 years. I've been teaching for 4 years. And so I've been teaching 7th and 8th grade since I started, just a mixture of both. And I also do a little athletics PE situation because I'm also a coach. So they have me doing a couple athletics classes in the mornings too.
Okay, so you're a coach. What sports do you coach?
Pretty much any girl sport that has nothing to do with running. I don't do track or cross country, but I do everything else. I do softball, volleyball, and then basketball.
So you teach and you coach. That's a lot.
It is. Absolutely.
So you said that you teach 7th and 8th grade. Mm-hmm. So between the 7th and 8th graders, which grade do you prefer to have the most and why?
8th grade, I prefer to have the most. The curriculum and everything I teach is the same. 7th grade math is the same thing as 8th grade math, at least from what we do. But just the students wise, I taught 8th grade at the beginning, and once I went to 7th grade, they were like little babies. Like, it's just 1 year difference, but the maturity level is different. And so when I go to the 7th grade, I have to remind myself that I can't necessarily talk to them like I talk to my 8th graders.
Okay.
My first year teaching 7th grade, I made a girl cry.
Oh my God.
On accident. So I was like, okay, let me rethink. But I do prefer the 8th graders just because they're a little bit more mature to talk to.
That makes perfect sense. And you got kind of like, okay, 8th grade, this is how we want to be. Mm-hmm. 7th grade, let me change it a little bit because they're a little bit more sensitive than the 8th graders would be.
Yes.
They're not there yet. Mm-hmm. But if, like, you could say anything, they're supposed to start crying. Like a 7th grader, they think they're grown, they try to act grown, but then little things set them off and you start crying. Like, okay, let's talk. Let's step outside. Let's talk a little bit.
Like, you have to remember, they're still 12.
Yes, like, they're still a kid.
Yes.
All right, so you do 7th and 8th grade math, and you've been teaching 4 years. Mm-hmm. But what started you on your education journey? Why did you become a teacher?
When I was growing up, both of my parents were educators, which is actually the reason why I didn't want to be a teacher. I was so set on not being a teacher pretty much my entire life until I got to my senior year in college. I had already taken the LSAT. I had already started applying to law schools.
Senior in college?
Yes. It was November of my senior year. I had some epiphany. I was like, I don't think I want to be a lawyer anymore. Because I had to help my little cousins during COVID with their online school. I would go over and I would help them. And I really, really enjoyed teaching them and helping them with their math. Just something in my head clicked in November of my senior year. And I stopped applying to law schools. And I started applying to teacher certification programs.
What are some things that you have in place for when the students arrive in your classroom, in between, and then how do you dismiss your students to make sure that your classroom stays orderly?
I have a lot of different little structures put in place for a lot of different activities, arrivals, dismissals. But the biggest thing that I have in place is student jobs.
They got middle school jobs?
Yes. What kind of jobs they love their jobs. So, for example, my arrivals, when the students come in, immediately go to their seat. But I have one student who passes out notebooks. I have one student who every single day does the same job, comes in, passes out notebooks. And then I also have a pencil person. If somebody doesn't have a pencil, the pencil person comes to me, asks me for the pencils for any of the kids who don't have a pencil. So I don't have 15 kids coming up to me at once asking me for a pencil. And then once they get started on that, they know they got their notebook, pencil, computer that's already on their desk, and they just start their do now that's on their computer. I also have a timer person. So as soon as the timer person comes into the class, they start the 15-minute timer so that once that 15-minute timer goes off is when we'll actually start the class for the day. That's their time to come in, get their do now done, and then finish any work that they needed to finish
within that 15 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, real quick. Mm-hmm. Pencils has always been a headache for me. How does that pencil person track to make sure that whoever they get their pencil to, they get their pencil back, so you have the same amount of pencils every day? How does that work?
So I'm very smart with who I give the job to be pencil person because that person has their own system in place to what they want to do to remember whose it is. So one of my pencil people has to write down the names so that they remember. Okay. Another one of them just remembers, like, oh, Anthony asked for a pencil, so I had to go get Anthony's pencil back. Like, he's very good at remembering. It just depends on the student, but usually my pencil person is very good at getting me my pencils back.
So, but whenever you decided here's a pencil person, you just let them know, like, this is what I expect, and however you handle the situation is up to you.
Right.
But I need my pencils back.
Right.
So what happens if a pencil breaks, like, or is getting to the point where it can't be sharpened anymore? What's the procedure for that?
We just get rid of those.
Okay.
They just get rid of them. I'm not super like, I had 15 pencils at the beginning of this day and I only have 14, so where'd my pencil go? I'm not as strict on that. My pencil people are more strict than I am on the pencils.
Yes. Look, so I'm trying to tell you, when you give students responsibilities in the classroom and that's their job, they don't play about that.
Right.
And if you told them every time somebody comes to the door, you're the one that answers the door, Jim better not get up and answer that door.
Exactly.
That's exactly how it is. That's my job. So it takes a lot of responsibility off the teacher. That's one less headache or one less decision you have to make because you gave that decision to the student.
Exactly.
It makes so
and it takes some stress off of me too.
Yes,
so
yes.
I mean, I still got pencils missing sometimes, but my pencil person usually takes care of it. It's not a problem.
If I don't have 15 at the end of the day, I'm okay. But if I have 13, we did good today.
Right.
It was a good day.
Exactly.
How many periods do you have?
We have 5 periods a day.
5 periods a day. So I know you mentioned that you do PE. So you have 4 teaching class periods?
I have, technically for most of the year, I had 2 teaching class periods. Okay. Right now I have 4 up until STAR.
I love that pencil policy. So what else do you have in place to help with the transitions, other things that you transition in your class?
My class sizes are very big and they've been very big. So it's very hard for me to do a lot of different activities where you're getting up, where you're transitioning between those kind of activities. For example, I have activities on computers and then we transition to activities on paper or group discussion. I always set a timer in between all of those different activities. I'm a timer.
I was a timer person too.
Fanatic, yes. So you have 30 seconds. The timer starts now. Put your computer up underneath your desk, pull your paper out, and once that 30 seconds is over, we start.
Okay, so where's your timer? Is it on the board? Everybody can see?
Yeah.
Okay, so you say you have a timer person, so that timer person starts and stops. So we do timers. That helps with the transitions, I promise. It helps so much. If you don't use timers in your classroom, consider using them and put them somewhere where you and the students can see them. It makes them less anxious. They know, okay, I got 30 seconds and this is what I'm expected to do. You say you have big classes, so around how many students do you have per class?
35.
30. Okay, 35. So I can see why you wouldn't move around the classroom. Yes. How are you moving?
Exactly.
But going from telling the student to go from closing your laptop to using paper and pencil takes time. And it seems like, do you do this like every day? They just know this is what I'm doing because I've done this repeatedly. Yeah. I can expect it. It's an expected procedure. And I know what to do when I get in class. I know what to get. When I get in math class, I know this is exactly what we're doing every single day.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about transitions out? Do you just let the kids leave when the bell rings, or how do you handle that?
It depends on the class, and it depends on like one period if they're going on their way to lunch, one period if they're on the way for dismissal. It depends on the class, but I dismiss them. So I'll dismiss them by rows. I'll dismiss them by this side of the room you can go, as long as, but they know I have to have my computer on top of my desk, calculator on top of my computer, that type of thing before they can go. I need some order in my room, organization, and dismissal.
Have to 35 students. How do you get them out safely? Because at the end of the day, it's about the student safety. How do I get y'all out safely? And then y'all don't drive me crazy.
Exactly.
And then I need my classroom reset for my next class. Let them be responsible so it makes less stress for the teacher.
Exactly.
And you teach them responsibility, and that's not another decision I gotta make. You have routines in your classroom, and this stuff ain't happening overnight. I can go in your classroom right now and be like, oh, hey, her students just do whatever without her telling them. But I know this started back in August. So how do you teach those routines, make it where it's predictable and the students do it routinely? And then what if at some point I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing or that you expected? How do you address that?
So I think with the routines, it's okay to change your routine up, but there needs to be consistency within like your reinforcement of it. So my first couple years, I would have all of these new ideas, like after a month, like, oh, I think that I should start having my do nows on the computer. Oh, I think I should start having it on paper. And so I would switch it up so often and then it just didn't work out. So now I think like between this year and last year, I've gotten set with how I want it to look like. Good. So I'm reinforcing the same exact routine starting in August all the way up until now. Keeping that same exact routine for the most part is what really makes them start to remember it, comply with it. That's really my biggest thing, is keeping the same exact routine. They know what to expect when they come in. And even if I'm not there right at the beginning of class, somebody has to cover me. They still know I better put my do now up right now and get it, the timer started and all that.
And I like that, how you mentioned that, okay, my first couple years, I tried this and was like, that's a horrible idea. So now that I know what not to do, let's try something else and make sure that it works for me. And so it's really a trial and error process of what works for your students. And some stuff that works this year could not possibly work next year.
Right.
But I have a starting point. I know this was working this year, so let's try it. And if I need to make minor adjustments, I can. But it's a good thing that you found out what works for you and your students. 7th to 8th graders is middle school. Middle school moves up and down every day. How do you try to prevent those behavior issues, especially with 35 kids in the class, and then make sure they don't happen? What are some things that you have in place for that?
I think the biggest thing with behavior, especially with big classes, for me, is the structures and routines that we were just talking about. When they know exactly what it is they're supposed to be doing, they know the expectation throughout the class, it prevents a lot of behavior issues that could potentially happen. Like, for example, my first couple years, the behavior issues I was having was because the kids didn't know what they were supposed to be doing, and so they started doing whatever it is they wanted.
And when they do whatever they want to, I promise you, there's a time to tear your classroom up.
And I think another big thing with that too is not giving them any downtime during class. Free time doesn't exist in my class.
I don't blame you.
Free time doesn't exist. Once you finish this assignment, look up on the board. There has to be another assignment that it is. Either go get it from my desk, go to the other assignment in Google Classroom, whatever it is. There's always something for them to be doing, rather than doing nothing and getting in trouble. So that's the biggest thing that's curbed the behavior in my class.
Downtime equals chaos to me. If I got time to think, I want to hit 10 on the back of the head because it's going to be funny. But if I'm like, oh, okay, I'm done with this. What am I supposed to do next? Oh, shoot, I'm doing this. The next thing you know, the bell ring and we out. But I've prevented those behaviors. And also, you mentioned that you have jobs. Giving students jobs help prevent behavior as well, especially when you get those students who, at the beginning of the year, they're acting crazy. Like, you know what? I got something for you.
Exactly.
I give you purpose in my classroom. Now you worried about collecting those pencils. Or now you worried about starting a timer, not playing with your friends.
Yes, and the jobs really do mean a lot to them because, for example, I have a student who was my computer collector at the beginning of the year, and then he started not acting right. So I took the job away from him. So now he's really, Miss Morris, if I do well in class today, can I please pick up the computers at the end of the day? I'm like, yes, actually, yes. So that kind of like helps too. They really take ownership of those jobs. And when they get it taken away, they feel that sense of, I want to get it back. So I need to do what I need to do to get it back.
Basically getting the students back to having choices. Like, I am going to choose to behave because I want to do this. And that's the goal I want to get back to. So now I'm going to watch my behavior because I said I want to collect these computers. And I know if I do X, Y, and Z, she going to let me collect these computers. So once you give them purpose and like, hey, I had that opportunity, but my behavior changed me having the opportunity. So I'm going to change my behavior because I want the opportunity.
Exactly.
So you put it back in the student's lap. It's up to you. You're going to decide if you get to do that again.
Right.
Plus a collector, you have a timer. You have somebody who's doing the computers and things that you have.
In the mornings, I have somebody who passes out calculators. Somebody in the afternoon, somebody who collects calculators.
Because you got to charge them again, right?
Got to charge them again.
Okay.
Yes. I have the paper passer router. I have any passer router I need. Any collector I need. I have those jobs, yeah.
So if you don't have jobs in your classroom, consider having them, giving those students those responsibilities. Take the weight off of yourself, put it back in the student's hand, and then you'll see behaviors in your classroom change. I promise you. You're in upper middle school. There's behaviors per se, but maybe there's not as many. I don't know. I haven't taught 7th to 8th grade. But how do you track those behaviors when you have behavior issues? And then how do you let parents know that I'm having behavior issues?
I always let parents know at the beginning of the year. I try to wait a week, a couple weeks, a month, just so I can get to know the student well, to have that relationship with them before I bring the parent into the conversation. If I'm having consistent issues, I will always, email the parent. Your child is very capable in my class, but is causing disruptions, yada, yada, yada. And usually with the initial communication at the beginning of the year, if I do receive a response back, it goes well for the rest of the year. I try not to bring the parents into it as much, especially not right away, just because I want to build that rapport with the student without involving the parents immediately. So that's kind of my philosophy on parent involvement.
Okay, so from what I'm hearing you saying, you build relationships with your students first. Let me get to know you, because maybe it's just something that we're not connected. We're not communicating well. Let me get to know you. And once I get to know you, okay, maybe I do need to contact the parent. And you mentioned that, which I love. For one, emails, that's documentation. You need to be able to document that I contacted this parent on what day and what time. And then two, you say you start out with something good. Johnny could have been in my classroom acting a fool out the first 3 weeks. But I'm going to say, well, first thing I know, Johnny likes to pass out papers. He does really well with that. But this is happening. The parents are sending their best to school. And they want to hear good things about their child, even if there is a problem. So start off with the good. Then address the behavior. And if possible, end with something good.
Right.
The parent won't be so offended when you contact them about behavior.
So, and also contact them about good things that are going on too. If it's
Yes.
always a parent who you're reaching out to, Johnny won't be quiet. Johnny's doing this, Johnny's doing that. When Johnny does well, Johnny will also really appreciate if you reach out to his mom, his dad, and say, Johnny did really well in class today.
Yeah, and his behavior will change because he'll be like, at that point, he'll say, if I do good today, can you call my parent? I hated staying after work. I want to, like, as soon as the bell rang, as soon as we could go, I want to go. But if I had a student that usually misbehaves, but they did a good thing and I had to stay an extra time just to call their parent, I'm going to do that.
Right.
Because it's going to make my life better. And it gives them confidence in my classroom too, and their behavior changes. So why would I not do that?
Right.
Yes, it makes perfect. I like that. You know, Johnny is usually bad, usually calling bad things. He does something good, call the house. Or write a note and send it home. Those notes will make it home. I promise you. When it's good, their parents they're gonna make it home. You email parents with behavior things. How else do you communicate with parents? Is it just through email, phone call? Like, what else do you do to communicate with your parents?
Email is my primary, just because it's, you know, quickest, easiest, and it's also easiest documentation.
Yes.
But I will also phone call if I need to. Every once in a while, I will have a student call during class, call their mom, call their dad, whoever. That's also a way that I contact parents. And parent-teacher conferences, whoever comes, I talk to them there. Other than that, that's about it.
So you don't send out any like weekly newsletters or anything yet?
I don't. That is something that I really want to work on, that I need to find a system to do, because I know that a lot of parents really appreciate that. I just haven't myself found that structure yet.
It is a difficult thing and it takes a little bit more preparation. But once you get your format, I know one thing I used to do was I would have a generic parent letter. I have it on a Word document, right? And I'll have like built out in sections. Like, these are the topics we're going over this week. Here's some videos you and your student can watch to help you. Any important days, like upcoming tests. And I will just copy and paste that every single time. I kept it like a Word document, so I have documentation that I was sending it out. And every Monday, I just made sure I sent it to the parents. But it's something that I worked on prior to, so all I do is copy and paste it, put it in there, send it out. Because I was with you, email. Like, I always tell the parents, email me, please. I can see the email between classes, and I know I need to get back to you real quick. It's the quickest way I got back to parents. Even though some people are like, oh, can you please give me a call? I'm like, what can we gotta talk on the phone? We can't do this on email. However, though, you have to keep in consideration that, one, meet your parents where they are, and then two, sometimes words can get miscommunicated. You might have read it a different way than I meant it.
Exactly.
And so when it became to something that was, I feel like was getting heated in the email, I would just give you a call. Because I didn't want anything to be misconstrued. And it was one thing you could try to look into. I don't know what system you use at your school or the viewers your school as well, but look and see if your system has a pre-scheduled email. Like, can I say I want to email these parents on Mondays at 8 a.m.? If I can't do that, I can go through there and pre-schedule those emails for a month. I know what topic I'm teaching. I know the videos I want to share out with you, and I know what's the important days coming up. And then have them pre-scheduled. And if something changes, I can go back and edit the email. But at least that's one less thing for me to think about. Gotcha. So then monthly, I can go back in there and be like, all right, let's set it up for the month of March. Let's set it up for the month of April. So we're still communicating with the parents, but it takes a little bit less off me. Yeah, it takes some preloading, but you know, that's just teaching anyway. I gotta preload my lessons. I gotta know what I'm doing. So just look into that. See if your system may make it a little easier.
Gotcha.
A little earlier that you want to build a relationship with your students first before I call home. So how do you build relationships with your students? What's important to make sure that you build that rapport?
So I think a lot of it is kind of meeting where the students where they're at, learning those first couple of weeks, really learning what it is they're into, what they like, how they feel about math, how they feel about the classroom. A whole bunch of things kind of go into play in it. And I think I also have a little bit of an advantage too, just because I am a coach. So I get a lot of my students outside of the math class, and so I can connect with them there.
Yeah, that matters.
A lot, definitely. But just keeping like an open door policy, students after the first couple weeks, when they start to realize who I am, just kind of always trying to keep that smile on your face and just be welcoming when they do come, meet them where they're at. I know all of their little jokes. I'd be on TikTok too. So just like talking to them,
staying relevant and up to date.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
And having conversations with them like they are actual humans and they're not just like,
look,
kids aren't dumb.
No,
they're very they're very smart, and they know they know when you are talking to them like you think that they're dumb. Yeah.
Yes.
I just always keep a real honest, open communication with them, and I think that helps a lot.
So with the open communication, you ever have students come to you and just say like, oh, I wish we did this in class, or I really enjoyed this activity. Can we do this activity more? So do you take that feedback and try to apply it?
I do. I love when they tell me that they either like something or they didn't like something in class. Usually if they didn't like something, it's because I gave them too many math problems. But
right.
But if they tell me that they like something during class, I will always take that into consideration. I like to try to play. It's been hard this year because my class sizes are way more than they have been before. But when I have had the smaller classes and we played like a lot of review games, they would tell me like, Ms. Morris, I really like trash ball. Can we keep playing that one? So I would
you let them play trash ball?
I did.
Boy, I love me some trash ball.
I love trash ball. So throughout the year, once they've seen all the games I have to offer, once we have star review time, they like to tell me like, oh, I really like this game. I like this game. So I'll try to keep that in mind. For
the viewers who don't know, please tell them what trash ball is.
Trash ball is